Do. Okay, well, as I'm waiting for people who want to join into the live, um, hey, what's going on, Dance? So I'm actually just waiting for people to join in the live. This actually live is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be showing off. Hey, what's going on, Renee? Showing off something I've been working on. A couple of people have seen the pictures of it so far, and I wanted to get some feedback, get you, the end user, to see it and tell me what you think. So this, of course, is the Vector. This is a Vector by Dart Zone that just launched about a week ago. And as you can see, it is essentially a Raven reborn. It's a Pro Raven. But the front end, much to my chagrin, is so ugly. People in the hobby and myself included have said that it looks like it was not finished, as if it was done by a 2-year old. Um, as if they said, "Hey, draw us a Nerf Bullpup Raven," and they gave somebody who um, was not very talented with CAD. Um, yeah, the front is big, and they said, "Okay, somebody that's not very talented, a CAD program," and said, "Here," and that's what you get, because you get this gigantic gap here, that's nothing but a blocky square, and this flat front. There's an angle here, and the muzzle juts out a little bit. The design of it's solid. I mean, it's a solid design. This hinge door allows you to access the B car, and that's great. So the the concept that I had come up with was a way that we need to be able to extend this. Now, Xfox, he got his vector before I did, and he actually redesigned this entire side here. And Joe has a design language that I'm not going to insult his design language. Okay, he does stuff really fast, and he gets it out in the market quickly. But what I saw that he did was that he got like this little muzzle all the way out here, like extended out here, but it was just flat. So you just have like, for lack of a better word, it looked like a narwhal. So like just this horn. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, I usually like Xbox's designs, but I said, congratulations, you somehow managed to make it uglier. If I was able to do a screen on screen, I'd put it like right up here and I'd show you that, what I'm talking about. Um, but that being said, I'm not the only one who said this. Other people saw it that are usually fans of his designs, and yes, they all said the same thing. And Renee, yeah, it looks like it was an early prototype that they had to make because, again, I feel like this blaster was a design that when they saw what not Dart Zone, what X Shot was doing, they just pushed it out to market and said, no, we got to get something out there because X Shot is stealing our money. And that may be possible. So first of all, everyone who's watching, thank you for watching. I do invite y'all to put stuff in the chat. What I'm going to be showing off here, what I've developed for this, it is something that I would love to get people's feedback on. This is not the final design; it's very close to it, but I'm going to show you because with a simple modification, and a couple of days of printing, literally you just slap this on here, and this goes inside. And I think that looks a lot better. So it's made so that it sits flush down here. You do have a place right here where you can actually hold your hand. It closes that gap, leaves enough space here for a flywheel to actually shoot out. I have rapid fired with this. It is the width of the bead car itself, so the darts do come out and they do fit out here perfectly. And it sits flush up here. It does allow you to access Picatinny rail on either side. The final design is actually going to be ramped up. And then this right here still is able to open. So there's a gap there. This actually sits up here. It rests pretty even. It allows you to use everything of the blaster. So of course this will be able to be available in different colors. You know, I could do orange, I could do black, and yeah. So you know, there is a couple little rough spots that I got to smooth out on the final design. But it allows you to rest the Picatinny rails right here. Now, here's the cool part about this design. Now, it does not use any hardware. No hardware at all. You know, you can actually just pull it out and slip it back on. And then that rail, if you're going to put something on here, I do print it sturdy enough so that that rail should not break. It does have a little bit of a gap there between the wall. However, if you were to use an adhesive like a Gorilla Glue, once the final version comes out, you actually just glue that down and that rail's not going anywhere. So you'll be able to hold anything that you want onto that rail itself. You could probably do like a Pico booper on the side, and then you could still open and close this door. The reason that I did it this way is because that way you're not breaking any shells. At the end of the day, you can actually just take this off and be fine with it. And the way that the blaster is designed and the way that I designed this product allows you that should something ever happen to the product and you have to open it up, there are no screws on this orange section. This orange section is one solid piece that just comes off from here. The part that opens up is the green and the white. So you can literally still clamshell this blaster open. You're still able to access this door to take it off to then access the rest of the blaster and open it up. So this product, this cosmetic modification that I've designed, does not have to come off the blaster for you to open it up, which is different than any of the other worker designs, different than any of the old stuff that I've done for France Filmworks, like this Battle Strife kit. You can actually keep this on. Once it is secure, you should be able to open up this blaster. It's probably not going to be the easiest to open up because, again, it adds an extra dimension on the side, which is the rail. But when it comes to actually accessing the parts that you need to work on, you can work on it. So that's it. I wanted to show that to you all to get your thoughts and see what you all think, if there's any changes that you would do to this design. Now, I've already told you I am going to make it so that this right here actually ramps downward so that there's an angle on the Picatinny rail. So the rail will probably like actually start at like a triangular ramp up into the rail system. But that's it. Pretty much everything else is there. It's pretty flush. The gaps that are back here are there because you have to be able to open the door. And this is tapped here as well. There is a little bit of a gap right there, but it is barely noticeable. And I left that there so you can literally just still hold your hand up like this to steady the blaster if you need to. Um, what else would you guys like to see on this thing, out of curiosity? Well, thank you, Ray. That was actually something that I was worried about because when I realized that I was going to actually have to secure this down by using an adhesive, it started to dawn upon me. I'm like, wait a minute, how am I going to be able to actually glue something down if something fails? But then I remember when I went live with this before that I took it apart, this orange piece never came off. And this is entirely secured just on the orange piece. So since it doesn't block any of the screws or any of the parts that you actually have to access, this piece right here, there's enough of a gap there that it is not going to get in the way of you opening it up. So again, it was left that way. I could have actually secured it more so that it actually molded to this, but then that would have had that issue. Um, yeah, I didn't want to actually break anything to break the blaster to make a cosmetic modification. So you want it to do a little bit longer. Um, hey, what's going on, classics? So what, extend it out just a little bit further, you think? Because the reason I didn't want to do a longer rail is because the blaster itself shoots 150, and I didn't want to run the risk of the darts themselves getting stuck caught up in a barrel here. So I mean, I could possibly make it longer at an under railing. Um, there's a reason that I didn't do that though, but I mean, I can make a different version with that. That's not too difficult to manage. So again, I may make a longer version, kind of like what I did with the MPP shroud. Um, but yeah, I might add that. It's funny you mentioned the master key with the gas canister because my intention um is that the Pico booper and hear me out here, mouse ears, Pico booper on either side. So not only have the blaster going up here, but from back here, you can launch your Pico booper when you actually have your hand down here. That's where I was going with it. But up here with the Pico booper, you can. The only issue that I worry with the Pico booper is that where for you to extend it out, I'm worried that it's going to get caught right here. So by having the booper up here like a rifle, you'd be shouldering it. That's my only worry. But if anyone who feels comfortable doing that, I have no problem designing that and giving them options. This again, I have the file for this base piece. The hardest part for me was actually getting the measurements of the inner barrel, which I'll show you that real quick. Actually, I have prototypes still. The hardest part was getting the measuring for this piece aspect of it. This is actually a prototype piece. Getting these measurements just right was probably the most difficult because the inner tube actually extends differently. Yes, it does friction fits right under the shell. That's my nom de plume. It is a friction fit system, no hardware at all. What I was mentioning earlier is that you friction fit it, and once you have it secure and you know, okay, I want to launch something on the sides, you can secure it down with an adhesive. I would probably once I get the color that I want. Again, this was just I had the neon green color, so I was going to test on it. You can actually fix it here and just glue it down here. This is still technically a prototype. I'm calling it the sci-fi muzzle because it does give it more of a sci-fi look. And yeah, once it's actually the finalized this design, I'm going to glue it down here on the sides. And there you go. So classics, it's funny you mentioned when it comes to hot glue. Um, what I do, like you can use hot glue if you wanted to. I prefer to use Gorilla Glue because it's about 2,000 pounds per square inch that you use. And what I said earlier on the live, which you'll be able to repeat this in the live, is that this is designed in such a fashion where again, you can actually unscrew the blaster with this on because if you see, none of the screw ports are covered, and this piece does not come off when you clamshell open the blaster. When you clamshell open the blaster, it is the orange piece that stays there. This piece, literally, when you open it up, you unscrew this screw, and this just yanks off. None of it is connected or modified to the actual muzzle piece. So there's that. Hey, what's going on, some guy? How's it going? I don't know who you are, but you're some guy. So, welcome to the live. We're just actually showcasing what I'm calling the Dart Zone Vector Pro Sci-Fi Muzzle cosmetic modification. Um, go a little bit deeper and make kind of a front grip at the downer front piece. So you want to integrate a foregrip like down here, you think? So, or make it longer and then have a foregrip up here. What are we talking about? So you want the foregrip to come all the way down here. I mean, I could extend it out and make a foregrip here. And I'm not against trying that as a mounting point. I could do that. My only issue with that, and that again, this was a happy coincidence, not a mandatory requirement. My only issue is that once I integrate that as to a mounting point here, it's going to make it more difficult for you for it to be hardware free, and B, for it to be a case of you not having to remove this in order to open up the blaster again in the future. So that's what we're going to run into. But I'm willing to try it. I mean, that's not a problem. I'm definitely willing to try it. So I may make this as an initial starting point and do a deluxe version, so to speak, that allows you like a different version that integrates that idea. Only because of the fact that again, I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I think that that's a solid idea. Um, what I might do, hear me out, instead of a mounting point, is if I can still develop it so that it's here and comes down here to like not that it mounts, but that it just covers, if that makes any sense. I might be able to do that. Um, we'll see. You're giving me some interesting thoughts. Keep this as more of like a for those who want to run it as a pistol because it really is just a pistol. You know, this the design that you guys are talking about, and I had thought about it, would be great for a rifle version. Which, speaking of, give me 1 second. Ignore how ugly this is going to look. So with that, I could definitely see it. Like that's where I could definitely see the foregrip aspect of things. Again, ignore the ugliness of this. So a proper carbine. Yeah, I mean a non-ugly stuffer too. So that's an interesting concept. I've never actually designed my own stock before. Understand, guys, I've the piston pump is my personal first uh take it to market design that I did from the ground up. This is my second. The even the piston pump that I mean it's I've sold almost 40 of them now. Even the piston pump one, I actually took um the design aspect that was used for the adapter that all of the other shrouds are based upon and used those measurements to then build my design around. And I borrowed elements from something else that I had from France Foamworks Designs and put it together. This is actually the first one that I built from the ground up, completely by myself. I did not get inspired by anything. No one else's design went into this design work. So this is actually my first true, like straight from here, like no measurements used. Like this was no one else's design said, "Hey, let me try to do this and make it better." No, I this is actually straight up my own design. So, um, oh, hey, what's going on, bots? Uh, so I'm cooking with this. I think I am. I mean, this is going to be it begged to be done. And again, I know, like I said earlier, I am not taking anything away from Xbox. I saw what he was trying to do, and I saw the picture that he posted, and all he did was he he recreated this piece and just made it like out here. I almost want to reach out to him and be like, Joe, listen, if you can give me that design, let me use your stuff, remix it to integrate this. It would be perfection. Um, but again, I don't want to steal his design from him. So, he had the concept of just replacing this barrel. So, it is pretty solid. This is pretty solid. It is a very solid piece. This is actually printed out with 6 walls, only like 30% infill. The estimated price point right now at this design is only about $15. And the reason is because it is filament plus time that it takes to print. So $15, use a hammer as proof. Challenge accepted. So yeah, um, there it is. Not gonna whack it completely, but again, no real damage to the side. So Renee, again, I will use a hammer on my products because I prove that they are solidly built. The only ones that I will not hammer on is if I will stipulate it on my store. This is designed to possibly break. That is why I will sell a replacement for it. It is a consumable, such as the targets with the cannons. Um, so yeah. You are correct. If you try hard enough, you can break it. The point is that this is not going to break just by you playing with it or by it falling, like some of the products that are printed by that store that's based out of Massachusetts. So, um but yeah, that's pretty much it. Now it's funny because bots had mentioned something, and I'm gonna try to work into the next another iteration for it, because I might sell 2 versions of it. One that utilizes, of course, Picatinny rail, and one that uses End Strike tactical rail. Um, the other, I take it throwing it coupe with a double dealer style is out of the question, though. I mean, I'll try it. I'll try it. I mean, I'm not going to throw the blaster, but I'll throw this piece. You um, it has not gone through my typical test of throwing it down a flight of stairs. Uh, but the end strike attachment point will be possible. Um, that's one where I will admit I am definitely going to borrow the end strike attachment design and just mold it onto the piece, because I'm not about to redo the measurements on that crap again. Like, no, no. Um, I mean, yeah, yeah, you're right. I would worry more, because if anyone who's actually held my blasters knows that you can actually use them as a blunt force weapon against somebody. They are pretty solidly constructed. I don't mess around, especially when I know that it's gonna take a impact or it's a stressor part. Yeah, no, that's 100% infill plus 10 walls, so it's a solid chunk of plastic. Um, but yeah, so all right, those are things to look at. So we want to see about try doing a molding a grip here, which I think I'll be able to work something like that out. Um, Need to bust out the protractor and maybe doing a rifle version is what you guys are saying, is what I'm hearing. And then possibly do an obviously an end strike version. And this I'm torn on this because again, it screams New Age Raven, but I feel like it could help with a thicker like shoulder point because and mind you, I'll just point out, my little man boobies here. When you aim with this, the magazine's kind of sticking right there in your chest. So it's like, all right, um, that way you can actually rifle it, I think. So, but yeah, now, my question for you all is the following. Again, I have been going through price points on this. Is $15 too much of a sticker shock? That's like the bare minimum that I can sell this at and still make a profit. Um, or for the basic version. The longer version are obviously going to cost a little bit more. Do you guys think that people will balk at that price for a adapter piece for what it is? I mean, I know that Worker doesn't really make anything for these things anymore. Um, I just have to worry about other 3D printers when it comes to them coming to market and undercutting. Oh, by the way, guys, you can put that on there. That's great. You don't have to because I'm not live streaming from YouTube. I'm actually using StreamYard, and StreamYard bypasses all of that nonsense. It posts to YouTube, so it's like a video, not a live stream. Kind of funny how that works. The Nerf Echo. I have an Echo somewhere. I have an Echo stock. Hold that thought, guys. I'll be right back. I knew this piece of shit would come in handy someday. You were a good idea that just no, nothing redeeming about you. I see where you're getting at. I see where you're getting at. I can see it. I really like where your head is at with this. That idea obviously boosts this up a little bit more. Make this so it sits flush and then work the angle down and then this back here. Bots, we're onto something. We're onto something. If I can mimic this design and keep the exact same length, let me. It's going to take a while because I still have other products I have to print out and make. So close. I need a longer caliper. You know what? I'm going to start a Patreon so you guys can buy me new calipers. Anyways, yeah, this stuff's not cheap. Yeah, that is a matter of just. I already have this piece made. I can modify that design. I can do this. I can do this easily. This fits on my print bed. Oh, hell yeah, I can do this. Yeah, no, the Echo is useless as a blaster. This was, if they would have designed the Echo to be a new ship without the um the stupid oh my gosh, solvent welding, and actually allowed to metal screws so you could take it apart to open it, and used retaliator internals so you could slap a worker kit in there. Oh, that would have been a perfect blaster. That would have been great. But yeah, the Echo was pretty useless as a blaster. I mean, because it is a beautiful looking design. The colors on it, I mean, the shell is beautiful. This prime was actually decent for what it was. You know, it had good bones, as they say, but just it did not execute the way it needed to execute. I mean, this thing is literally it's not even real screws in here. It's all solvent welded. You know, why would you do this? I don't know. Hasbro, shame on you when you made it. You took a great looking design and somehow still found a way to fuck it up. But you know, there you go. Yeah. And it sounds like it should be powerful, but sadly, the most you had to get out of this thing is about 65 FPS. I don't think you can get that with it. Let me see. Yeah. Painted drum mag. This is for my metallic red Rampage. So, but unfortunately, as much as I hate the Echo, I can't stomach getting rid of it because I keep it as a reminder of what could have been and what was. So whenever somebody's like, "Oh, N series is the worst thing ever designed," I could be like, "No, let's look at the Echo." Wait, the Echo doesn't even have an O-ring on the plunger. I've never actually took it up. I never took it open because of all the solvent welding. It doesn't have a plunger. Are you kidding me? It doesn't have an O-ring on the plunger. They went like N series, like Alpha Strike with this crap. That's ridiculous. If it doesn't have an O-ring and it's still pumping 60 to 65, then maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. I mean, that's actually for there's nothing to help make it have a seal. I mean, oh my god. Yeah, with a proper O-ring setup, you could probably actually give it a better seal and make it do something. Wow. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that there was no O-ring on this thing. Again, I never was able to open it up because of the solvent welding, and I was like, the juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze. Um, that makes me change my mind completely. That means that, oh gosh, that means that you could possibly do some. I mean, it would be require a lot of work, but you could probably do some stuff with the internals if you were willing to put in the effort. I didn't realize that. That's that's awesome to know. So, all right, well then, yeah, back to this blaster though. So we're thinking Echo for the stock, something similar to this. Could probably do that. Do a complete attachment point. I don't have to do a battery door for this because the battery door, it's the battery cavity in here. You can fit a full size 3S lipo in here, so you're fine on that one. Um, Literally just have to design a static buttstock for it. Just call it the complete sci-fi blaster. That would actually look really nice. I think we can get to work on that. I think that is going to be my next project once I finish this piece. This should be done within the next couple days. Like I don't feel comfortable selling this one. I think after I make my next little changes to it, again, the issues that I'm running into is that it printed out a little bit rough. There's like a I need to flush one of these triangular angles down a little bit more. But once I do that, this is good to go. This is great to go. So, but yeah. So there you have it, folks. Your first look at the Dart Zone Vector Pro Sci-Fi muzzle, developed by the Big Blaster Consortium. You can expect to see this go live shortly within the next week or so. And again, she'll be about $15 a pop. For international people, just to let you know, I do ship internationally. If you go to the Big Blaster Consortium store and there's something that you want, shoot me an email. If you're willing to pay for shipping, I will get you a quote and we'll work things out. One of the things that I've worked out with some international people who are interested in buying things is that if they are able to get people to around them that want to buy some things, I will go ahead and actually if enough people buy, so if like 5 or 6 people buy something, and I can put it into the box. I'll actually parse out the shipping of that one box into one price, ship it to one person, and then they can handle the distribution to everybody else there. That's the deal that I have, for example, with somebody in the chat that's I mean Renee in the chat. You know what I worked out with you for deliveries to Deutschland. So of course, if you just live overseas and you're like, oh no, I just want that item, just send it to me. I'm willing to pay for shipping. Again, that's fine. I can do that as well. There aren't necessarily shipping options on the page. because Squarespace for some reason is being a jerk, but I can work on that. Again, I'm in the process of doing that right now with the barrel shroud to send it to the Netherlands. So, but yeah, again, it was a quick live just to show you guys this and discuss possible product designs. We're going to get to work on finishing this one, and then the Mark II will be the longer version. Um, Probably extend the top triangular method right here so that it goes longer. And yeah, get everything else done. So hopefully we'll be able to get that in relatively short order for people. On the next episode of Norman's Gonna Fix It, we'll have an echo. I oh, you're setting a high bar for me, Renee. You're setting a very high bar for me. I don't know if anything can fix that one, but we'll see. My next thing is to making this look a little bit more prettier than what it is, a little bit more pretty. Though I do have plans eventually for the boxer when I get it. Um, yeah, but for right now, let's work on this one. So, but that's pretty much it. This again, for those interested who have the Dart Zone Vector, keep an eye out. I'll probably put a listing on Facebook saying that hey, my listing for this is now live, and we'll get this taken care of and added. Um, it's going pretty good so far. This was about 2 days worth of design work, so um, yeah, we already got a finished product, or well, close to a finished product. So yeah. All right. But thank y'all for those of you who tuned in. I appreciate you. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the design ideas. I'm going to see about working some of those into this the next couple of marks of this. But this will be officially Mark 1. Mark 2 will have the longer barrel. And then Mark 3 will just be the end strike lug. So, or we'll just call it the Dart Zone end strike muzzle. I don't know, come up with a fun creative name. So, all right, guys. Again, thank y'all for watching. I will let y'all know when the new stuff is up. Until next time, y'all. Keep on blasting.